So my name is Jimmy Barkan. I've been teaching hot yoga since 1980, been coming to Costa Rica since the year 2000. And we want to take advantage of our environment and do some hot yoga tutorials, a series of tutorials. So for this video, we're going to go over leg stretching. In the Barkan Method hot yoga class and in the Bikram class, we do head to knee and stretching pose. But in the advanced class, we added some postures. So with the help of senior Barkan teacher Lana Vogestad, we're going to head over to the studio in Costa Rica and check out these poses. So here we are with Barkan senior teacher Lana Vogestad, and we're going to do the leg stretching series. But we're going to start with a very preliminary beginning leg stretching, or what we call head to knee pose. So Lana's going to stick her right leg out to the side. Left foot's going to come in to the inside part of the thigh. And let's look at two modifications. The first one, you can do a little mini straddle split. And just bring your leg out to the side, then bend your knee up and grab your toes and touch your head to your knee. That's the first modification. Now the second modification, Lana's going to take her left foot, bring it all the way underneath the thigh. So it's going to go on the other side of that thigh. Now she bends her right knee up, grabs the toes, and what this does, it takes all the pressure off the knee, because we're going to try to open up that hip. And look how far up she's bending her knee, so the forehead touches the knee. Now if you don't need the modification, Lana's going to take that foot right up against the inside part of that thigh, bend her knee up first, touch the head to the knee, interlacing the fingers just below the toes, and eventually slides the leg out all the way as far as you can go. Remember, we're going to take it 1 inch or 1 centimeter at a time. Eventually, the leg is straight. She presses her elbows into the floor. And eventually, the most advanced, the heel comes off the floor to the final position. So the next posture in the leg stretching series is what we call Passio Tanasana, just simply nicknamed stretching pose. So Lana's going to bend her knees up. And she's going to take the two fingers, index and middle finger. She's going to slide it between the big toe and the one next to it, and then make a fist with the rest of her hands. This may be as far as you can go. Your only goal is just the next inch. But once you can get your legs all the way into a straight position, then all Lana's going to do is drop her elbows down to the mat, pull on the toes. Now the next trick, bring your thumbs back to your forehead so your forehead touches the thumbs. And eventually, the knuckles of the thumbs. And eventually, the head touches the toes. So now if you can get your elbows down to the mat, and you can get real close to touching your head to your toes, this is a really great little assist, a little trick you can use. So a towel has magically appeared at Lana's feet, and she's going to take the towel, place it over her toes, and now she's going to take the two fingers just in the thin layer of the towel. She's not grabbing the towel. The two fingers are going to grab those big toes. And now she's going to pull, lengthen to work her head closer to the toes. And at the end, remember if you watched this video, she can bring her elbows all the way up and a turbocharged pull that middle back, head to toes. The next posture in the leg stretching series is what I call extended utita padahasthasana hands to feet pose. It's also the cover of my DVD back in 2005. So here Lana's going to grab her heels. And the key to this position, you've got to keep the arms around the backs of the calf muscles like you're doing padahasthasana from the back. Now she's slowly going to jackknife her legs to her body, but she's going to continue to pull down on her heels. The arms continue to stay around the backs of the calf muscles. She looks up at her toes, and the shoulders drop down as she pulls herself up. Now you may be starting here. Slowly you're going to work your way up till eventually you can go to your full expression. Pull down again on those shoulders, head to feet, look up at your toes till you can jackknife that body. So the last posture in the leg stretching series are the full splits. A lot of people freak out when you say full splits. What Bikram and Vishnu Ghosh would call Jana Shirshasana, head to knee, but it's also known as Hanumanasana, at least the full expression. So now let's talk about the modification, because everybody can do this. And if you're doing a hot yoga practice, you're working on full splits all the time. You just may not know it because you're stretching out those hamstrings. So we got the blocks on each side of you. And think about the stretch in two parts. The right heel is extending forward for the front of the hamstring. Stay on the toes of your back foot, and the back hip flexor is extending back. So right heel out, hamstring, left leg back, hip flexor, and if you stay on your toes, you get a nice leveraged position, and the blocks will keep you stable. I'm going to have Lana come up just a little bit for a second. A lot of you are going to maybe starting up high, and you're going to work your way down 1 centimeter, 1 inch at a time until you can get to your full position, but work the breath. And if you don't need the blocks, and if you're more advanced in your hamstring and hip flexor stretch, no blocks, Lana is actually going to come forward so that her right heel is going to go in front of the mat, because sometimes your heel gets stuck on that mat. This gives you a little more range of motion. So the heel kicks out, left hip flexor back, then she's going to point the toes of her back foot, hips square. We don't want that left hip cheerleader stretch. We want the hips square to the front wall. She grabs her toes, touches her head to the knee. That's why Bishnu Ghosh and Bikram called it head to knee pose. And then when she comes up, she brings her arms overhead into Hanumanasana and goes into a back bend, keeping the hips square, interlace fingers, index finger released, or flat hands. And that is the full split, and that is the leg stretching series. So that's our episode for today. Isn't Costa Rica amazing? You want to come with us next year, look down at the description below. We'd love to have you join us. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the like button, and any comments you have, put them down below. I get to all the comments, and I'll see you at the next video, see you at the next posture. Bye, everyone.